Hello, hello learners, welcome back to my channel Commerce Tutorial. So today I am going to talk about some important one-liners on income tax and corporate tax planning. So let's start it. The term agriculturalist includes the following person who undertake cultivation of land. So who will be the agriculturalist? An individual, a HUF, that means a Hindu undivided family. Okay, so an individual or a Hindu undivided family is termed as agriculturalist. Income tax is collected on all types of income except agricultural income, because we know agricultural income is not taxable or is exempted from tax, of course up to a certain amount of limit, as per Income Tax Act 1961. So income tax is collected on all types of income except agricultural income. The Income Tax Act came into force from 1st April 1961. In the year of 1961, it came into force from 1st April on that year. As per Income Tax Act 1961, income tax is charged on the income of previous year at a prescribed rate, because we know we have to because we know income tax payable is calculated on the income of previous year, and we have to pay such income tax on the next year of the previous year, that means the assessment year. Previous year means the financial year immediately preceding the assessment year, because we know the income tax is calculated on the basis of the income of our previous year, and the next financial year or the immediately financial year of previous year is called assessment year. Section 6 of Income Tax Act is related to residential status. I have a separate video on residential status on my YouTube channel. Please do watch that video so you have a clear conception regarding residential status. So Section 6 of Income Tax Act is related to residential status. Resident of India mainly includes ordinarily resident and not ordinarily resident. So resident of India basically includes ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. The company may have the residential status as resident or non-resident, either resident or non-resident. Now, I'm going to talk about some important deductions which are mentioned under section 80C to 80U as per the Income Tax Act 1961. So what are those what are those deductions? Under section 80C, let me tell you one thing. I'm not talking about any detailed description about this about the deduction. I'm not going to talk about any detailed discussion. I'm just giving you a list, just synopsis regarding these important deductions. Okay, so let's start it. Under section 80C, it talks in respect of life insurance premium and contribution to provident fund. So under section 80C talks about life insurance premium and contribution to provident fund. Under section 80 CCC, in respect of contribution to pension fund. The previous one is contribution to provident fund and life insurance premium, and this one is in respect of contribution to pension fund. Under section 80 CCD, in respect of contribution to pension scheme of the central government. So in respect of contribution to pension scheme of the central government mentioned under section 80 CCD. Come to the next deduction under section 80 CCE, limit on deduction under section 80C, 80 CCC and 80 CCD. That means that means it limits on the before mentioned deductions. Aggregate amount of deduction under section 80C, 80 CCC and 80 CCD shall not exceed rupees 1,50,000. That means the total aggregate amount of deduction of 80C, 80 CCC and 80 CCD shall not be exceed 1,50,000 other than deduction in respect of employer's contribution. Deduction in respect of employer's contribution will not be included in that amount or in such limit. Under section 80D, in respect of medical insurance premium. So under section 80D talks about medical insurance premium and deduction on that case. Under section 80DD, in respect of maintenance of dependent relative with disability. It talks about the medical treatment, the maintenance of dependent relative with disability. Under section 80 DDB, in respect of medical treatment, maybe of spouse or maybe father, mother, ex-parents, etc. So dependent parents. So under section 80 DDB talks about deduction in respect of medical treatment. Under section 80E, in respect of repayment of loan taken for higher education, you are taking a loan for higher education. So as per Income Tax Act 1961, you are eligible to get such certain deductions in case of repayment of such loan, which is taken for higher education. Under section 80G, in respect of donation to certain funds, institutions like your Ramakrishna Mission, like your draft relief funds, different kinds of funds and reliefs are there. If time permits, I will make a separate video regarding this under section 80G deduction, because it is very important deduction. Under section 80C, 80D, 80DD, 80DDB and 80G. These are very important. 80C, 80D, 80DD, 80DDB and 80G. These are very important questions. Short numericals can also come from 80G. So be careful about that and practice this kind of problems. Okay, if time permit, I will prepare some video on that, because I have to cover so many topics and time is very short. So come to the next deduction under section 80GG, in respect of house rent paid. You are eligible to get deduction when you are paying house rent. Under section 80GGA, in respect of donation for scientific research and etc. So under section 80GGA talks about deduction in respect of scientific research in various institutions. Okay. Under section 80TTA, in respect of deposits in savings account. So it's talk about deduction when regarding savings account, deposits in savings account. Under section 80 TTB, in respect of interest in case of savings account, senior citizen. So 80 TTB talks about interest in case of senior citizen. Under section 80 GGC, in respect of contribution given to any person to political parties. If any person giving any contribution to any political parties, then it will be deducted. So he or she will be eligible to get a deduction under section 80 GGC of Income Tax Act 1961. Under section 80U, in respect of person with disability. So under section 80U, we talks about deduction in respect of person with disability. These are the main important deductions mentioned in under section 80C to 80U. Various matching type question, that means match list 1 with list 2 or list 2 with list 1. This kind of question can be asked from these deductions, like your accounting standards. So be careful about that. Come to the next question. Income Tax Act is related to incidence of tax. Which section? Section 5. Section 5 of Income Tax Act is related to incidence of tax. Okay. If time permits, I will make a separate video on this topic. Otherwise, after finishing of your net JRF examination, I will prepare the video on these important topics. So stay tuned with me. Another question: heads of income. We know, as per Income Tax Act, we have 5 heads. First one is income from salary. Second one is income from house property. Third one is profit and gain from business or profession. Fourth one is income from capital gains, and fifth one is income from other sources. So income from salary, income from house property, profit and gain from business or profession, income from capital gains, income from other sources. Come to next question. If the agricultural income is more than 5,000 and the total income is exceeding the exemption limit mentioned in Income Tax Act, the agricultural income is considered for calculating tax. That means agricultural income is exempted from tax as per in the Income Tax Act 1961, but up to certain limit. If it is more than 5,000 and the total income is exceeding exception limit, the agricultural income is considered for calculating tax. That means then in that case, if agricultural income is more than 5,000 and the total income is exceeding exemption limit, in that case, agricultural income will be taxable. The income is chargeable under the head of salary under section 15 of Income Tax Act 1961. That means section 15 of Income Tax Act 1961 talks about income from salary. Pension under the salary head is fully taxable. Pension is fully taxable under the salary head. Similarly, capital gain is chargeable under section 45 of the Income Tax Act. Income Tax Act section 15 of Income Tax Act talks about income from salary. Similarly, section 45 of Income Tax Act talks about capital gain. This is a short numerical on calculation of GAAP, gross annual value. municipal value is given, fair rental value is given, standard rent is given, actual rent is given. This kind of numericals can be probably asked. High chances are there to ask this kind of questions. So how can you calculate? Just we take municipal value, fair rent and standard rent in first column. 2 column will be there and 1 is particular column. So we just take higher between municipal value and fair rent, that is 50, but subject to third one, that is standard rent. That means we have to take the higher between municipal value and standard rent, municipal value and fair rental value, but subject to standard rent. That means we have to take higher amount, that between municipal value and fair rental value, that is between 45,000 and 50,000, which is 45,000, but subject to standard rent, which is 48,000. So ultimate will be 48,000. So higher between 1 and 2, that means municipal value and fair rental value, but subject to standard rent, that is 48,000. So ultimate amount is 48,000, which is the reasonable expected rent, which is termed as reasonable expected rent. Now actual rent is given. Now we have to compare reasonable expected rent with actual rent and take the higher value between the reasonable expected rent and actual rent. So taking the higher between reasonable expected rent and actual rent, which is 48,000, this 48,000 will be my GAV or gross annual value. I repeat, we have to take the higher between municipal value and fair rental value, and then we have to take and then subject to standard rent. If standard rent, if the question is silent regarding information of standard rent, then simply take the higher between municipal value and fair rent and consider that highest figure as reasonable expected rent, then compare with actual rent, and then take the higher value between the reasonable expected rent and fair and actual rent, and that higher value will be your GAV. If fair rental value is also not, if fair rental value is also not given in your question, it's silent, then take the actual rent as your fair rental value. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. And next question, for a self-occupied house property, NAV is nil. We know in case of self-occupied property, up to NAV it will be nil. Under the head income from house property, the basis of charges is the annual value of property. We are calculating income from house property on the basis of annual value, maybe it's gross annual value, net annual value. Deduction from annual value is allowed under section 24. One is 24A and 24B. So deductions from annual value is allowed under section 24. If fair rent is not given, as I mentioned you before, then assume actual rent as fair rent. If fair rent is not given in your practical problem, then take the actual rent as your fair rent. So this is all for today. I will make a separate video on some another important one-liner of income tax. So stay tuned with me. If you like my video, then please press the like. So give a like, subscribe my channel, press the bell icon to get the notification of my upcoming videos. Share with your friends, and thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. Thank you so much.